Everyone, welcome back to another episode of Guitar Talk with Todd here at Todd Beebe Music. Thank you all so much for checking in and joining me. And please hit that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Thank you all so much to all of you that do subscribe. I really appreciate it. Our subscribers are going up, and I thank you all for that and helping me out with that. We are planning on going live here on YouTube when we hit 500 subscribers, and we're closing in on that. So help me out. Our numbers are growing. I really appreciate you guys being with me. I've always got all guitar content here. We post weekly artist interviews, product reviews, lessons, guitar reviews, which is what we're going to do today. Today we have another heritage guitar. You know, we love our heritage guitars around here. This is an H-535 out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're going to put this in the unicorn category like we do when they're super rare. So at some point here, the little unicorn's going to be walking across the screen whenever we have a rare one. Heritage H-535s are, of course, Heritage's answer to the Gibson ES-335. Those of you who know this channel know we love Heritage. Just do a search through my videos here. We've done a ton of Heritage guitars on here, and we'll have more. Real quick history of them, though, for those of you who don't know, we always like to tell it. Gibson moved to Nashville in 1984 and left Kalamazoo, Michigan. And in 1985, April Fool's Day of 1985, Heritage Guitar was incorporated by former Gibson employees that didn't want to move to Nashville. They stayed behind in Kalamazoo. Marv Lamb, Bill Page, J.P. Motes, Jim Derlew, and I'm going to throw my good friend Rendell Wall in there too. Those guys got the whole thing going in 1985. This particular model is a 1990. Heritage started doing H-535s in 1987. So 88, 89, 90, this was like the third year of doing these. And so that was definitely in the early years of the company. Check out my review of a 1988 Heritage H-535, the second year production of this model. This particular color, Argentine Grey, as it's called by Heritage, that's what it officially says on the label, or also better known to the public as Silverburst. We have really researched this thing, and as far as we could tell, this is the only one ever made in this color. And it was definitely some kind of a special order, one-off type of a thing. And to make it even cooler, it's got the factory Bigsby on it. So, I mean, you've got, you know, the factory Bigsby, the Argentine Grey Silverburst color. I mean, come on. This is like super rare. Those of you who are in the know, in the loop of Heritage guitars, have probably seen this guitar before. It's kind of become known in the Heritage circle with collectors and stuff. It's kind of become known as the only H-535 in existence that is Silverburst out there. You know, many collectors have talked about this. A few people have had it, and we've done some research on it. A private owner brought this to me today so I could do a setup and a review on it, so I thank them for that. This is just a beautiful instrument and a super rare piece of Heritage history. Please comment, you guys, if you've ever seen another one. Let me know. Those of us in the Heritage circle are always kind of looking for more of these. But as far as we can tell, and we've talked to people like Rendell and people that worked at Heritage, the actual Silverburst color, or Argentine Grey as this was known officially, less than 15 were made during this era. of, Heritage, the early years, like the early 90s and late 80s. And to add on to that, not only were there only 15 or less than 15 in Silverburst made, as far as we could tell, there was only one ever made of an H-535. So I'm assuming, possibly an H-140, an H-157, any of some of the other models that Heritage was doing ended up with this particular Argentine Grey color. But like I said, please comment. I'd love to see another one out there. As far as I know, and many other collectors, this is the only Argentine Grey Silverburst H-535 in existence. Very cool guitar. We've got the Heritage silkscreen logo on the headstock, Grover tuners, bell-shaped truss rod cover. We're going to talk about that more. We have in the past. That was right before the Gibson lawsuit that went down, and Heritage had to change their truss rod cover. We'll talk about that more when we look at it in the case. Rosewood fingerboard, dot inlays going up the neck here. The awesome gray and black wood pick guard. I used to love it when Heritage did that. They don't do that anymore, the actual wood pick guard, and then they would match the color to the guitar. It's just so cool. Schaller roller bridge. We're going to talk about these pickups too. These are actually Seymour Duncan pickups, and there's actually 3 holes here, like what would have originally been Schaller pickups, which, if you know anything at all about Heritage, right around this time, 1990, they were pretty much using Schaller exclusively, and they did that right up until about the mid-2000s when they started incorporating Seymour Duncan and other stuff. So it's pretty rare and unique that this would have Seymour Duncan pickups in it. I've talked to various people about this guitar. Some people swear these are the original pickups and this was a one-off custom kind of a thing, but because of the 3-hole thing here, this leads me to believe that Schallers might have been pulled out and these Seymour Duncans put in. You could tell by the age on the covers and stuff that these have been in this guitar for a long, long time. So if they were swapped out, it was pretty early on, and it's almost as if to say these are the original pickups at this point because they've been in this guitar a long, long time. It's one of the mysteries about this guitar. Just a lot of stuff about this that's a mystery. And then, of course, the awesome, Bigsby whammy bar here, which who doesn't love a Bigsby, right? I mean, that's just great, great stuff. Factory installed. That came out of the factory with this on, so it was not added later on. So between the factory installed Bigsby and just this color Argentine Grey Silverburst in general, this is a super, super rare Heritage guitar. Just very cool. Sounds phenomenal, as you would always expect from Heritage. Just a nice full tone, what you'd always expect out of a H-535. The early years of Heritage, I talk about this on the show all the time. Just super special years there. They would do one-offs like this. I've said this a million times, but I'll say it again. Heritage is still around today in Kalamazoo, still making some great stuff, but it's way more automated and systematic and controlled. And like I said, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Everybody's got their preferences and stuff, but the old days of Heritage, it was truly like a custom shop. I mean, it was just a few guys there in Kalamazoo doing whatever they wanted to do. You know, they would put out one-offs like this, and even the hardware was kind of like, oh, use this, put that on there, and let's just use that piece on here and get this out and send that out the door with this on it, and that type of thing. That doesn't happen as often anymore. Everything's very, you know, automated, and it's just a different type of a thing. Like I said, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying it's kind of a whole different company than Heritage was, you know, back in the day when they started with Marv Lamb and Bill Page and those guys. And this is a 1990, so the company had only been around about 5 years during that time, and it's still, we're using the bell-shaped truss rod covers. Let's talk about that in a minute and get some close-ups here in the case and get way more into all that stuff. In fact, let's do that right now. The Heritage H-535 in Argentine Grey Silverburst. Let's check her out. Okay, so here is the case for the Heritage H-535. This is an official The Heritage case, but I can tell you right now, this is not the original case. This is about as good as you're going to get, though. The old cases for Heritage, early ones like the 1987, 1988 models, didn't say anything on the outside. It was just a plain black case. Like I said, check out the review we did of a 1988 H-535. I'm going to put the link to that in the description below. That's got one of those cases where it's just plain black. One of the owners that had this previously, I talked to and said this case was ordered to just put it in and have a Heritage case, or the Heritage. So that's just cool. This is definitely, you know, older than what you're getting now out of Heritage with what they're putting on. A lot of them just say Heritage and don't say the Heritage, and it's just a different font too. Like I said, all still good stuff, but just different. So this is a great case for this guitar. This goes, like I said, about as close as you're going to get without having the original case. And it is a Heritage case, so it's perfect for this guitar. All right, so there it is. Like I said, beautiful Argentine Grey there, Silverburst. That just looks so cool. Whammy bar, like you always do on Bigsby's, you fold these down and then fold it back up when you're not putting it in the case. But obviously when you're putting it away, you just fold that back, and as you just saw, the case closes just fine. But a lot of great stuff going on here. If we get right down in here, I'll see if I can show you. That was the original, or is the original. You could see H-535 Argentine Grey. It's actually what it says right on the label inside the F-hole. So that's what they officially called this color. Better known to the public, of course, as Silverburst. But let's get right in here and check some of this stuff out. Like we said, I don't believe these are the original pickups, but they very well could be. I guess that's just one of the mysteries of this guitar. But the fact that we've got 3 holes here on the neck pickup, that's a total giveaway of Schaller hardware. So like I said, what I think is going on is these pickups, which are Seymour-Duncans, were put in and replaced the original Schallers, which Heritage was using almost exclusively at that time, 1990, which is what this is. But you never know. This could just be a one-off thing, and that, you know, pickup mount could have been used just for that pickup. So it is possible. I guess we'll never know. Looking at the finish on those pickups, they've been in this thing and they've been kicking around for a while, so they have been in this guitar. If they were swapped out, it was pretty early on. Schaller roller bridge right here. I always loved these. You can intonate it really cool. It's got the roller, which is why it's called that, so you can go left to right to kind of line the string up where you want it more, and then intonate it as well. So these are really cool. I always loved the Schaller roller bridge. I always love the older Heritage guitars that have those on there. Like we said, the awesome Bigsby right there going back. That was factory installed. that was not put on secondhand. That came right out of the factory that way. 2 volume, 2 tone controls there, black speed knobs. That's a classic look. 3-way toggle, of course. That's all classic stuff here on the H-535. Awesome wood pick guard in Silverburst. I mean, come on. You talk about rare. When do you ever see one of those? Like I said, Heritage always did that on their 535s back in the day, and I really wish they would bring that back. I know it's a lot of extra work, but now they just pretty much use solid black or cream, whatever you want to call it, to match. They don't do this with the wood anymore, and I always loved that. That just looks so cool on their all wood pick guard to match whatever the finish is. Like I said, check out that video. I'll put the link in the description of the 1988 model in the old style Sunburst, and that pick guard matches on that one too. Just so cool. And this guitar is in fantastic shape. 1990. This is being recorded in 2023, so 33 years old. This thing is, I mean, come on, that's pretty fantastic. There's not really any nicks or anything on this. From what I understand, one owner owned it forever and then sold it in the last probably 5 years or 10 years or so to someone who owned it for not very long, sold it to somebody else. So it's only had like 3 or 4 owners, but like I said, this is kind of you've heard about this guitar, you've seen this guitar if you're in the heritage circles, because again, as far as we know, it's the only H-535 in existence that's in Silverburst, so very cool. Rosewood fingerboard here with the dot inlays, exactly what you'd have on an H-535, just so cool. Frets are in fantastic shape, not worn at all, original frets. Like I said, there's not too much play time on this guitar, it's just in beautiful shape. Okay, the headstock here, we've talked about this before, bell-shaped truss rod cover. I'm going to move this here a little bit just so I can put the other truss rod cover next to it. The current one that Heritage uses looks like what we have here on the bottom, and they've used that since 1991. Gibson went after Heritage and, you know, sued them in right around the time this was being made. 1991 lawsuit outcome was one of the things was the truss rod cover, and that's not just Heritage. That's in the guitar industry, the only guitar company that's allowed to use the bell-shaped truss rod cover anymore is Gibson. But at this time, Heritage was still going. No lawsuits at the time had come about in 1990. So if you see one of these Heritage with the bell-shaped truss rod cover, that's a giveaway without even seeing the serial number or anything, that it's one of the old pre-1991 Heritage models. So that's like very cool, and like I said, they started using what they currently use now in about 1991, and they've used it ever since then. Okay, let's flip this over. We got the Grover tuners here. Let's flip it around and look at those on the back, and take a look at the entire back of the guitar too. Okay, so awesome Grover tuners. I mean, Grover, you can never go wrong with. As far as we know, these are the original tuners too, which again kind of makes you wonder because Schaller was also providing, you know, tuners for Heritage at the time, and that you'll see that on a lot of the older Heritage stuff. So the fact that this has Grovers on here, which appear to be the original, also makes you kind of question that pickup thing still. So I guess we'll just never know. But this is definitely a one-off in every way, shape, or form. I also like the fact that, I don't know how well you could see it here, but they got the Silverburst going on the sides here of the headstock. I mean, it's just so cool. Going down the neck here, mahogany neck. They even did that awesome Silverburst or Argentine Grey on the neck. A lot of times you'll see that. A lot of times you won't. Like I said, we have a Les Paul coming in Silverburst, and it's entirely black on the back, the neck, and the body, and it's just Silverburst on the front. But then you do see these two. I just love this. They went onto the sides with the Argentine Grey Silverburst. You can see it right there on the horns. And then, of course, the back there, maple back. The front and top was also maple. Just beautiful Argentine Grey there. It just looks awesome. As does that yellow binding. It's aged so well in 33 years. But like I said, no nicks on this thing. It's pretty flawless for as old as it is. Schaller strap locks there. Whether those are original or not, I couldn't really tell you. Again, it makes sense that they were using Schaller hardware, that they might have just thrown these on here. But again, that never matters to us because we are powered by strap-tight strap locks on this show. Stop altering your guitar, stop dropping your guitar, throw on a strap tight, and you are done. So definitely check our friends out at straptight.com. We love them. So make sure you check them out and use them exclusively on all your guitars like I do. It's the easiest way. You don't have to alter any of your hardware anymore. All right, let's flip her back over here and get a look. Let's take a look at the output jack first. Okay, so there is the output jack built right in like you would have with no cover or anything going on, just recessed right out of the body. That's classic Heritage right there. That's exactly how they were doing it. They're in 1990. All right, going back here, we can see the back of the Bigsby where it's hooked in there with the other Schaller strap going there. And like I said, strap tight strap locks just go right over the top of that, so no worries. And then like we said, that awesome Silverburst there, they even went on the sides. It just looks so cool, especially with that aged cream binding going on. Just beautiful stuff. All right, let's get one more shot on the top here. All right, so there we are coming in. Full case shot there of the Heritage H-535 in beautiful Argentine Grey, better known as Silverburst to the general public. Just a beautiful one-off unicorn example here of Heritage history. Such a rare and great, beautiful guitar here, and just such an awesome example of the fine craftsmanship they have going on there at Heritage Guitar in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Okay, so here is a quick shot of the certificate that came with this Heritage guitar. Any of you familiar with Heritage know they always gave these. I think they're different now. But again, this is a 1990. So you can see there on the bottom, Jim Derlew, Marvin Lamb, J.P. Motes, and Bill Page. Like I said, I always love to throw my friend Renwall in there as well. Those five guys were pretty much like the core of Heritage at this time and remained so right up until, you know, the new ownership took over there a few years back. But just really cool stuff to have, you know, to go along with this. So it's cool that this card stayed in the case all these years. H-535, you can see their finish AG for Argentine Grey. Just really cool stuff to have case candy there with the guitar. All right, so there she is. Let's take her for a test drive and take a listen to this beautiful tone machine out of Kalamazoo, Michigan here. Gonna do my usual stuff, slide, some just mellower type of blues stuff, and then I'm really gonna turn these pickups up and let them crank, and so you can really hear what they can do full on as well, and try to cover as much of the tonal palette here as we can on this beautiful unicorn piece out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, Heritage Guitars. Here we go. Okay, so there is the awesome, super rare Heritage H-535 in Silverburst, Argentine Grey. As far as we know, the only one ever made of this. Even if Heritage does start making the 535 in Silverburst, they still make this model right now. This is being recorded in 2023. You can get it in the standard colors like the old style burst and, you know, the vintage sunburst and red and black and natural, I believe, and maybe a couple other colors, but they are not currently offering Silverburst. You just don't see this on 535s too often, or, you know, even like an ES335 from Gibson. So if they even ever did start offering it, this is still going to be a super rare guitar because this was under the original ownership of Heritage in the early years. And those days are done, and those days are long gone. So, you know, you can't rewrite history, so it's set in stone that this is the only one out there in existence of an H-535 in Silverburst Argentine Grey. But please comment, you guys. Let me know if you've ever seen one of these, or just what you think of the Silverburst color. I love Silverburst. I know we have a Silverburst Les Paul coming in. Those are just beautiful. One of those is coming in for a review here very soon too from a private owner, so we're looking forward to that. I just love Silverburst. Is such a cool thing, just the way it looks and everything. Awesome stuff. Please comment, you guys. Let me know what you think. Please hit that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Help me out, get my subscribers up. Thank you guys for helping me out up to this point too. This channel's really starting to grow, and I'm super excited and proud of that. I love bringing this stuff to you guys. We're going to start having more guests on, and like I said, when we hit 500, we are going to go live, and I'd love to interact with you guys on here. So spread the word to your friends. Please have them subscribe to my channel. Help me out here when we hit 500. I'm so looking forward to hanging out with you guys and doing a live session here too, and hopefully that'll be something we start doing more often. Really looking forward to that. So thank you guys. Find me on Facebook at Todd Beebe Music. And we will see you guys again. Stay safe and love your dogs. Take care.